Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. My name is Steven Jodrand. You know the gang, Armand Kafai and Jake Watroba. Today's episode, we continue our conversation just from yesterday. It's part 2 of our little midweek mini-series. Go back and listen to yesterday's conversation. What the hell is the point of the Leagues Cup? Are the U20s giving you any hope? And what's better, Champions League final or the promotion playoff? And listeners, make sure you subscribe to the show. Hit that button wherever you're listening to. Give us a 5-star review. And make sure you follow us on the Twitter machine at UncSamSoccerPod. Guess what? Armand finally has Wi-Fi. Welcome back to the 21st century. Armand, are you alive?
I am alive and well. It's raining in Texas. I was under a tornado watch or warning or whatever, the more extreme one. I'm alive and well.
You remember when you recorded during a tornado?
There was tornado sirens going on. Everyone's laughing. I'm looking outside to see if there's any gusts or something like that. Yeah, man, it was terrible. But I mean, at least I live in Oklahoma, so there could be worse things in life.
Hey, Jake, in Minnesota, where you live, have you ever had a tornado?
We get tornadoes up here.
You do?
Not to the extent of what you...
You guys get tornadoes?
Yeah, we get tornadoes. Probably the weather isn't as crazy up here as it is down in the south, down in Texas, down in Oklahoma. Granted, now we get snow. We get tons of snow in the wintertime. But, yeah, I mean, we get tornadoes. It's just not like a weekly occurrence like it seems to be down in Texas.
It's not weekly.
Yeah, but it's still life-threatening.
It's a lot more, yeah.
I heard when it rains, it really rains down there.
It's been raining all day. Yeah, raining all day.
Listeners, on today's episode, we discuss why superstars keep dropping hints of wanting to play in MLS. We'll discuss Christian Pulisic to Chelsea after Hazard and Sarri are set to leave the club. And it's another edition of the Counterattack with Jake Watroba. But question of the day, guys. Why do superstars, and I'm talking about world-class superstars, keep dropping hints of wanting to play in MLS? And this isn't a continuation of kind of opening thoughts from yesterday's episode where I really didn't get my thoughts in. But Raheem Sterling, who is a fantastic player, a transformative player in world football. He's tackling issues of race in England as well as leading England. And for a long time, Sterling was criticized, but now he's really turned everybody on his side, and he's a fantastic player to watch. Armand, you're the resident fake Manchester City or bandwagon Manchester City fan. He's got to be up there as far as important players, as far as just overall superstars for the Man City squad.
Loved how I'm being attacked as a fake bandwagon. Everyone's a bandwagon in America. Come on now.
Yeah, not to the extent of Man City fans.
Dude, I actually like their logo in FIFA. Okay, relax.
Jake, is that a good indication?
When you're first getting into soccer, I mean, come on, man.
Wait, what's the question you're asking me?
Should logo? Armand so happened to like Manchester City's logo. That's why he's a Manchester City fan.
That's kind of why I picked Chelsea, to be quite honest with you. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys are both frauds. Moving on.
I'm a fraud, but Raheem Sterling, I mean, he's easily one of the most important players for City. His maturation under Pep has been insane, and he's already hitting a point where, I mean, the beginning of his time at City, he wasn't that good, or wasn't this good, but now he's getting in positions, he's scoring, he's distributing, he's being a threat on the wing, and he's easily a vital part of Pep's system.
So, NBC Sports a couple days ago had a story by Joe Prince Wright. Raheem Sterling hopes to play in MLS. And it's an interesting article. Reading from the story, during a quick off-season break to the USA, Sterling has been talking in New York City at the Wall Street Journal's Everything Festival. English football has grown massively over here in America, he's talking about. It wasn't like that in the past, and it'll continue to get bigger, Sterling said. I was surprised walking out of the hotel today and being recognized by one or two people. I didn't expect that over here. This is a country I would one day love to be able to come to. Your weather's a lot better over here than ours is. Hopefully one day I could bring my family over here. Guys, what is up with superstars wanting to play in MLS? Because I genuinely don't think it has to do with anything regarding the league. It has to do everything with what the country is and is about. And listeners at Unc Sam Soccer Pod, tweet at us. Let us know why you think superstars keep hinting at wanting to play in MLS.
Well, that's 100% what he's getting at. It's just the American lifestyle. Raheem Sterling isn't saying, hey, I want to play in MLS one day. I hope I play for, I don't want to say Columbus Crew because we pick on Columbus Crew all the damn time.
Chicago Fire.
Hey, I want to play for Chicago Fire. Perfect.
New England Revolution.
New England Revolution. FC Cincinnati.
Dallas.
FC Dallas. No.
Colorado.
Raheem Sterling saying, you know who I want to play for when I come to MLS? LAFC. LA Galaxy. Inter Miami. Maybe NYCFC. That's what these guys are coming here for, is the lifestyle. You don't see these massive names, these massive superstars come to MLS, with the exception of Bastian Schweinsteiger, come to MLS and play in Colorado or play in Real Salt Lake or play for Houston Dynamo. I'm sorry. They don't. They come here to play in LA. They come here to play. Well, they will come here to play in Miami. And they come here to play in New York.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with playing for Miami. It's not like a player in the NFL wanting to play for the Patriots because he wants to win a ring.
No, it's all about the lifestyle. It's all about being in Miami. It's living that lavish lifestyle. I mean, let's face it, man. Would you rather live in Manchester or would you rather live in Miami? What sounds more appealing?
Come on, man.
Yeah, but it's Jake. It's not even necessarily that. I think it's more about the opportunities afforded to having your children grow up in America, the education opportunities, the cheaper life.
The lifestyle, yeah, like Jake's saying.
Like the lifestyle, but we're not talking. Yes, we're talking about the glamour as well, but we're also talking about the practicality of living in America versus living in Europe, and the situation going on over there.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different. I mean,
but they're millionaires, so at that point they have so much money, it doesn't really matter, right?
It's not like he's coming from Colombia or Ecuador or Brazil.
Well, that's
like that.
true.
I mean,
fair. That's a very fair point. He's an English. He's Englishman.
Living in England, it's not rough in England. You know, we're not, people aren't struggling in England like they would be in places in South America and Central America. I mean, Raheem Sterling has it pretty bleeping good over in England. I think it's more of just I want to live an American lifestyle. I want to live in one of the more glamorized cities in America, like in LA, like in New York, like a Miami. And I think that's all it comes down to. They don't care that they're playing in MLS. They don't care about the product on the field. I mean, let's face it. How many times have I told you guys, MLS, the quality of this league right now is about on par with League One in England. It's not high quality. They're not coming here to play because they love the league. They're coming here to play because they want to live in America for a duration of their life.
Listeners, question of the day: why do superstars keep dropping hints of wanting to play in MLS? Now, Armand, more pointed at you, do you think it's a good thing for the league of players continuing saying, yeah, one day MLS is on the sites?
I feel like MLS is on the side of every big player because of the glamour and the allure of America. I mean, when you go overseas, like I've been, like you guys have been, you sense this, oh, America, what is this like? What is this? Like this idea of this glamorized lifestyle. I think it is a good thing, plain simple, because it just keeps getting MLS in the storylines, you know? Maybe at some point someone looks into it, like, what is MLS? What is this league? Is it interesting? Is it bad? Is it good? It keeps MLS in the storylines. That's good for a young league, and it's great that, you know, these players continue to say, hey, I want to come here one day. But, I mean, we're also kind of seeing it now. Anyone would take Raheem Sterling, no doubt. But, like, what about a guy like a Giuseppe Rossi, who we've been hearing, like, has been, like, linked to, like, 3 teams but hasn't been picked up? I think part of it, MLS is like kind of shifting away from signing those guys, but I don't think they should be at the same time. I mean, we saw the impact Wayne Rooney had in DC.
Yeah, you guys both wrote an apology letter for that.
Yeah,
a
we
big
did.
one.
We did, and you still tell us about this apology letter every day.
But
you
deserve it.
But I mean, at the same time, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. I think these guys coming, I think like a team like Inter Miami with David Beckham's influence is going to be huge. And I think it's great for a league. I think Don Garber welcomes it. He enjoys it. And sooner or later, maybe that age of, players coming over will decrease. And maybe it'll be a younger player, kind of like the South Americans right now, can be a younger player saying, hey, I want to go live in America at like 22 or 23 instead of like 30 or 31.
One other quote that caught my attention. Sterling said, "There's always games on our telly at the training ground. We're either watching this or the Australian League." And I'm a little bit confused. What time are they training? If MLS is in the afternoon, that means they're what, 7 hours? They're 6-7 hours ahead, depending on what time the game happens here in America.
It has to be a rerun. It has to be a
rerun. But Armand, you just talked about being in the headlines. Is the images that they see on their telly a good reflection of MLS? Because I would be a little bit concerned.
Well, what are they watching? They're not watching like, oh man, I have to pick on some people now. The Colorado Rapids and the Revolution. They're watching like a highlight show of something or
match of the day,
a match
ESPN
of the day.
Plus.
Or no, they don't have ESPN Plus over there. Or they'll have like a Atlanta United versus SKC, like it's like a match like that. They're not gonna have like FC Dallas play like a Rapids or something. They're not gonna have those games on there, so it might look better than it actually is. Might be a little bit of a catfish.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's probably the Indian Super League is what he's really watching.
Yeah.
The Indian Super League, man.
That's
Don't sleep. New Delhi FC.
Love it. The story kind of finishes with this quote. For sure, this bracket MLS is growing in the UK, and people are really taking it in and want to come over. I hopefully want to have a career here as well. We'll see. We'll see if these superstars actually come over and what it does.
Steven, let's move on, though. Let's talk a little Christian Pulisic at Chelsea. If you haven't heard, Chelsea forward Eden Hazard is basically looks like he's leaving Chelsea for Real Madrid. And BBC Sport interviewed Christian Pulisic earlier this week. And here are Christian's comments on Eden Hazard. It is incredible to see what Eden can do. He is a guy to look up to and what I would love to become. It is definitely a goal. Any player would be dumb not to want to be in the same team as him. Steven, it sounds like Christian Pulisic wants to be Eden Hazard.
I guess that's good. I don't know. I always thought Hazard...
Isn't that good for the national team?
I thought Hazard's always been a little bit overrated. He's played 340-plus games. I don't know the stat specifically, but he's only scored 108 goals.
He's got like 80 assists, 80-plus assists, too.
Yeah.
Are we just getting players off goals? Come on. For context, Steven hates Chelsea.
Okay, fine. Yes, I do hate Chelsea. I also dislike Hazard. I just genuinely... He's one of the players I don't like, so fine. I have a bias towards him. Would Christian Pulisic becoming Hazard be a bad thing for the U.S.?
Oh, no.
Absolutely not. Let's be honest here. Absolutely not. But I think he could be better than Hazard. I do.
Ooh, come on, the spicy take.
Ooh.
I do. I think Christian Pulisic has a different dynamic than Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard has more of a narcissist, arrogant player view. I think Christian Pulisic is a little bit more of a team player, but I also think he's more of the under the radar. I hate using this term because this will be very spicy, but he's a little more Messi-like where you don't necessarily get all the antics with him. I mean, let's go back to when the U.S. failed to qualify for the World Cup. What were the comments Pulisic said? He took it to heart. And I think it's a reflection of Christian Pulisic might be captain by default for the U.S., but I don't think he's that leader. I think he's more of like Messi. He's not a good leader. Messi is a talent, one of the all-time great talents, but he's not a leader. I think Christian Pulisic fits that mold more so. Let's face it, guys. Chelsea's going through a weird change right now. They just won the Europa League. Hazard, he says, I think it's a goodbye, but in football, you never know. He told BT Sport that. Sarri might be leaving for Juventus, so you might have a new coach. Pulisic, big money. He's young. He's the future of Chelsea. What does it all mean? He's obviously saying the right things. Thoughts, guys?
Did you guys watch the interview? Because the interview is really interesting. As the BBC guy asked Pulisic 4 questions in a row about Jadon Sancho. It was a very cringy little how good is he? How was it playing with him?
Yeah, because they clearly have more of an interest in the Englishman than the American.
It's cringy. I mean, forget the exclusive with Pulisic, man. I mean, come on. Keep it a little bit more Pulisic. Let me ask one question about Sancho. But look, I've been saying this from the get-go. I think Pulisic can succeed at Chelsea. But the scenarios you mentioned is not really ideal coming in. You don't know who your manager is going to be. You might be tabbed to replace one of the better players the club has seen in the last few years.
Better. I would argue almost the best player.
Almost best. Yeah, almost best.
Well, the only one better would be maybe his potential manager next year.
Frank
Lampard.
What about Drogba?
That's what I was saying. You guys can go on a list about this. You got to leave it up for interpretation.
Well, you're saying one of the better as if he's
okay,
a coin flick. We're saying he's top 10.
Listeners, you know what I mean. Listeners.
Okay.
We have this trust between us.
Right.
I think it's a great. I think the move is great itself to move to a top team. I finished third. That has Champions League football. That just won a trophy. But again, not knowing your coach is a little. I don't like it, but I think Pulisic can make it work, and it's gonna be a little bit of pressure on him as the American one of the best Americans to go into the Premier League. But like I said, I think Pulisic, like you said, Steven, has the personality to handle it.
I think he has the personality. I think he has the talent. I think he'd be better than Eden Hazard. Tweet at me at Steven Jodrand or at Unc Sam Soccer Pod.
Let me ask you this, guys, though. Are you not a little bit concerned? I mean, we can look at what Mauricio Sarri, I don't think he's the right manager for this team. I think it's pretty apparent when you watch Chelsea play. I don't think he has the right pieces in place. But looking at what he did at Napoli, looking at how attack-minded Napoli was.
I got to pause there, Jake. You're the resident Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
But if I told you 9 months ago that Chelsea Football Club would finish third in the Premier League and win the Europa League, you would have taken that all day long.
Yeah, but it's the way in which they did it.
Who cares? Who cares? Because next season, I guarantee you're going to get a manager in place, and Chelsea are going to not succeed like they did.
Frank Lampard.
I think Chelsea fans need to calm themselves down and be happy with their season, although it was kind of a bleep show at times. And Sarri was up and down.
No, because if they weren't up and down, if they were consistent,
they were never winning the Premier League. They were never going to compete with
the Premier League.
Liverpool or Man City.
They didn't look good for a large chunk of the season, and you can argue that because of that, that might be the reason why Eden Hazard
where is
wants
the
out.
patience? Because I fear if you're reacting like this with Sarri, what's going to happen with Christian Pulisic when he plays 6 to 7, 8 games? Doesn't have an assist, doesn't score, and has a couple of bad games. What are the Chelsea fans going to say?
He probably gets loaned back to Dortmund.
This is a concern I have with Christian Pulisic. If we're getting rid of Sarri after he's led them to the Europa League and to the Europa League crown in a Champions League guaranteed through the Premier League, not by winning the Europa League. What are they going to do with Christian Pulisic if he does not perform up to par? Or he has some decent stats, but his play on the field doesn't look good. What are we going to do? What are we going to say? Yeah, he gets loaned up, but back to Dortmund. But that is not what the Americans need right now. Not after the failure a couple of years ago.
Look, man, he knows what he's getting himself into at Chelsea. It's not the most stable club out there. The patience is very thin there.
The turnover is high.
Turnover's high. He knew that when he decided to go to Chelsea. I mean, there were other offers in England, and he wanted to go to Chelsea. That's what it was. So, look, he's an American. I want him to do very well at Chelsea. I would want him to do very well if he was at Liverpool or Man City or Tottenham or United, any of them. But the facts of the matter is, if he does not perform at Chelsea, he will get loaned out. Because how many times have we seen players who haven't started their Chelsea careers off to a fast start? Let's look at Kevin De Bruyne. Let's look at Juan Cuadrado. Let's look Salah. I mean, the list goes on and on. Chelsea is not a club with patience, so Christian Pulisic needs to hit the ground running, or he's going to get loaned out somewhere. That's just the fact.
And the funny thing is, I think Christian Pulisic, even if he does not hit the ground running at Chelsea Football Club, still is going to be a better player than I think Hazard in the long term. I really do.
I think that's a preposterous statement, to be quite honest with you.
No.
I think that's a spicy take.
It's a spicy take, but I think under the right manager, and because he's so flipping young, he has the opportunity to outpace Eden Hazard. And he continues, at least on the list of most important players under the age of 21, 23, he's up there. He's up there. And the Americans will, once he starts playing at Chelsea, I think his stock here in America is only going to grow. Really is. Armand, you got the final word before the counterattack.
Oh, wow, putting a little pressure on me. I'm interested to see how much of a non-on-the-field impact Pulisic makes in terms of jersey sales, in terms of, popularity of Chelsea across America. Like I was telling you guys before the mic, I just went to a bar in the Dallas area, and it was more Arsenal fans. I saw Chelsea fans. I wonder if that changes, especially with Pulisic now being part of the team. I'm really interested to see that part of it, because that played a part of it in his role, right? And if that goes well, coupled with his on-the-field play, you can see more Americans, getting more Premier League looks, because they're saying, hey, we can increase our brand, we can increase our marketing, and more importantly, we can get a player that produces. Pulisic's going to be the ultimate experiment. I'm fascinated to see how it's going to go with him at Chelsea.
Fast-paced, shifty movement, brilliant skill. It's the counterattack with Jake Watroba.
It's counterattack time here on Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. Got a few topics for you guys here to discuss. Let's dive right in. Let's talk a little Premier League or EFL promotion playoff here. Aston Villa returned to the Premier League after beating Derby County 2-1 earlier this week. The club joins Norwich City and Sheffield United as the three clubs heading to the top flight, replacing Huddersfield, Fulham, and Cardiff. How thrilling is the promotion relegation playoff battle, and is there anything like it in sports? Armand, let's start with you.
Ooh, give me the first take. The last take and the first take. I love it. It shows hunger, and it shows the best of the competitive nature that we have. Sometimes the football isn't that good because these games have so much on the line, but the feeling of a club getting promoted, I think, is a feeling that me, you, and Steven can't really relate to, but for those fans that have been with the club forever, that have grown up with their families watching it, it must be a feeling of pure euphoria. It's something that, brings out the best, out of the players, and just the competitive nature of it is great. I think it's one of the best things in sports, if not one of the best. And I love to see it. I love to watch it. I always make sure to watch it whenever it happens, because it's a real battle out there between those teams.
There's nothing like it in sports. That's the hard part. There is literally nothing like it in sports. It's plain and simple. I mean, it's great, and Armand sums it up well. I mean, when you watch, if your club runs in the family for even one or two generations, and you're getting promoted, it's got to mean the world to you, especially when you live in England when the weather's crap. maybe your job sucks. Come on, sports, it uplifts ya.
I agree. I think there's nothing like a team that gets promoted. The jubilation from the fans, the tribalism, that whole thing. It's great. Nothing like it in sports. But let's move on here. Let's keep it in England. Let's talk Newcastle United. Newcastle United owner Mike Ashley is reportedly close to selling the club to Sheikh Khaled bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a member of the ruling family in the United Arab Emirates. Guys, are Newcastle United poised to be a big European club again, pending the sale of the club?
Are they going to follow Manchester City's footsteps or steal their playbook? If so, then I can't see why not, or can't say why not. They wouldn't, in a couple of years, do what Manchester City did and buy themselves a ton of silverware.
No, not for the short term, because they're gonna do a bunch of crap and buy a bunch of players that aren't good, hire a big name manager that maybe is not that good, and it's not gonna gel well. City had the same problems when they first started that way. Over time, they will, maybe in 5-6 years, when we're talking about top 7 instead of a big 6, maybe a big 7. And I think immediately, no, you're going to see a little bit of a lag because of the adaptation and the players you have to buy, trial and error. Remember, City wasn't always like this, I guess, quote unquote, smart with their money. If that's the right word. They bought like Robinho and a bunch of other players, and look, like they spend drastic amounts of these guys never really.
Can I say something?
Turned out well. What's up?
I actually think this is a good thing for English football. If Newcastle do get the funding, because this makes the top 6, it's a different club that breaks in. And I wonder, will it force Arsenal to spend more? Will it force Tottenham to finally spend something, although they are in the Champions League final? I'm not too certain. I mean, I saw one tweet about this pending sale that, in 5 years, 7 years, Newcastle are competing for Champions League, maybe winning a league title, and Manchester United are just trying to stay above the relegation zone. That was pretty funny.
That's an interesting take, Steven. I actually think in 5-7 years, I think the Premier League might only have 5 big clubs. I think you can argue that Manchester United and Arsenal are trending down currently.
Of course.
Under their current ownership groups. They don't appear to want to win right now. So
no,
I think you make the argument.
I think it'll be a big 6, Jake. I think Wolves sneaks into that 6.
Oh, Whoa, that's a spicy take. All right, but let's move on here.
Leicester City.
Yeah. You stuck 3 years in the past, Steven. It's okay.
Aston Villa returning back to the old glory days. But let's move on here. Let's I guess keep it in England, but let's move to Italy too. Maurizio Sarri has reportedly agreed to terms with Juventus to become their next manager. Guys.
Yes.
Will he be successful at Juventus if he does become their new manager, managing Cristiano Ronaldo?
No. I don't think Ronaldo has a lick of respect for this guy.
I guess it's opposite stay, because I say yes. I think he's a lot more better in Italian football than he is in English football. I think he'll be just fine. I don't know if he has the firepower of Napoli, but it's Juventus. They'll be fine regardless of what happens.
They'll win it for a 9th straight time. They're so far above anybody that they could hire a pretty crappy manager. Or
they could hire Steven Jodder as manager. They'll be fine.
Yeah, well, if they were to hire Armand Gafai, I think they would be in the toilet. But I think
okay.
I think Sarri's a good manager, and I think Chelsea are cutting a leash or are cutting him off too soon. But I think he wants to be out because he sees an opportunity at Juventus. He's Italian. Everybody wants to take charge of the old lady. But I genuinely am concerned about how he's going to manage a true superstar in Cristiano Ronaldo. Eden Hazard is a superstar of the Premier League, but it's not CR7, not to the likes. Jake,
yeah, Steven,
let me turn the question on you before we move on, because I know we're a little bit of a time crunch. Are you happy that Sarri's leaving?
Of course.
So who replaces him? Is it Lampard? Is it a guarantee Lampard
it probably
takes
is gonna be
over?
Lampard. it's probably going to be Lampard.
My dark horse, Jose Mourinho.
This special one. Bring him back.
Bringing him back for what, the third time?
Third time. All right, let's stay in Italy though. Let's talk about a team that could this is a spicy take. Could be challenging Juventus. Maybe the next couple of years. Atalanta, who finished with 69 points, nice, tied with Inter Milan on points, but had the goal differential advantage, have secured Champions League play for the first time in club history. Do you fellas think UEFA is happy about this? And do you enjoy seeing new clubs getting entry into the Champions League?
Yes, and UEFA's pissed about this, and I absolutely love when these new clubs get Champions League play. Love it.
Screw UEFA, and I love it too.
How can UEFA be happy that AC Milan, who've won the Champions League on multiple occasions, is not in the Champions League, and you have Atalanta, who, if just like Jake did, made the mistake, almost called them Atlanta. It'll be fascinating to see what players leave, if they invest, what they do, but I love it. But UEFA is pissed.
I agree, Steven. I think UEFA does not like to see clubs like this getting entry into the Champions League, although I do agree with you as well on this, that I like seeing these smaller clubs get it. I like seeing these, I guess, Cinderella stories, if you will. How fun was it to watch Ajax?
Loved it.
Basically, almost make a run to the final this year. How fun was it to, even Leicester City a few years ago, get out of the group? I mean, that was still...
They moved down. They moved. They went past the round. They made it to the quarters. Lost to Atletico.
Yeah, and it was fun. I enjoy stories like that. But let's move on here. We're on a time crunch here a little bit. Let's talk about something a little more serious. Let's talk about the Europa League final. That was today. Chelsea win 4-1. But let's talk about some more serious things going on in Baku, Azerbaijan. Police in Baku were filmed stopping Arsenal fans with Henrik Mkhitaryan shirts ahead of the Europa League final. Mkhitaryan has pulled out of the encounter as a result of his country's dispute with the host nation of the final, Azerbaijan. Steven, you're the Arsenal fan here. Should the Gunners boycott, or should have the Gunners boycotted this game?
Oh, I would have just loved for Arsenal to take a stand. Like, can we get a club to actually do this? The problem is, it's all about the money. So every pundit on social media is like, yeah, Arsenal should boycott them or boycott this match. Truth be told, if they were in the position of Arsenal, they would never have done that. But if you're Arsenal and you have some sort of moral, objective standards, they should have definitely had pulled out. There's no reason why UEFA hosts a match in a country where a player is not on a suspension, is not going to play because he's suspended, because he is in danger of his life. Tell me how and why that would be a good idea. How often do we see games get moved because of weather in this country? It has happened before. And yet you got UEFA, who should have taken action. But this is on Arsenal's board of whatever. This is squarely on Arsenal. They should have objected. They should have just said, screw you. And all the players are coming out saying, yeah, we're with Mkhitaryan. If you're with Mkhitaryan, don't play. Stay at home. Pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree, Steven. It's all talk.
It's all about the dollar sign, Armand.
I don't even know, why was Baku even the choice? If a player can't play? Are you kidding? That's ridiculous. Yeah, on it. Look, we can say we should have Arsenal boycott it, but in reality, we know that would never happen because it's all about the money. It's not about the thing. Why do you think Qatar's getting a World Cup? Is it about that, or is it about the slave / people dying to make the World Cup happen? in that country. Overall, it's all about the money in the sport sometimes. It sucks. And it's not good. And I wish there'd be a little more of a stand, especially because soccer does cross political lines sometimes. It does. I really wish there'd be a stand taken, but I mean, it's a tough spot to be in. Overall,
$ greed.
It's overall. It's kind of disgusting that the game was even played there. To be honest with you,
I agree.
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher right there.
No, not just a little bit of a head scratcher, a massive head scratcher.
Well, my head still itches.
Guess what, guys? I think the European Championships in 2020, which is next year, they might be host. I think, but if this is all memory, listeners, so correct me, at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. Are considering are they considering or have placed Baku on the list of places where the European Championships will be held? So what are we gonna do then? Terrible.
You better pray to God Azerbaijan won't be in, or Armenia won't be there.
Yeah,
that'd be a literal riot waiting to happen.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll just quickly make my point here. I would have been very surprised if Arsenal boycotted the game. It's all about the dollar signs. But last topic up for discussion here. Not sure if you guys heard, but the Champions League final is this Saturday. Tottenham, Liverpool, Madrid at the Wanda. Jurgen Klopp had some pointed comments for treble-winning manager Pep Guardiola. Klopp said the Premier League is more important for Guardiola because he hasn't been in the Champions League final for a while.
Love it.
Don't get me wrong. We all know he is the best manager in the world, and he deserves all the praise he gets. Oh, boys. Klopp kind of lit the earth on fire there a little bit, huh?
Yeah, screw Guardiola.
Yeah, I guess Klopp hates Guardiola confirmed. But I mean, look.
How could he not be salty, though? I mean, he lost the league by 1 point, and he had the third most points.
After
one loss and having the third most points in Premier League history.
So let me spin this on you guys. Does this Champions League victory make up the Premier League second place finish?
It makes up for last year's loss against Real Madrid. I don't know if it makes up for the Premier League loss, but you know what it does? It kind of helps. Klopp is missing. Think about it. This is his 4th European League final, where he lost. Remember, he lost the Europa League and the Champions League with Liverpool, and he lost the Champions League with Dortmund. So he's quickly turning into a Buffalo Bill.
Hey, at least he's consistent.
Yeah, consistency is key.
Yeah, but if
you're
not winning any trophies, get out.
Here's the other thing. He's not doing these things with the biggest clubs in the world. He's not doing this with the Barcelona. He's not doing this with
please.
Liverpool's not
How
a big
much
club.
money did they spend on a central defender?
They are a big club, but they are not the same size as Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern.
They are.
Not. I mean, you look at the play. They haven't.
Look. I love Klopp and all, and I think that it's a funny comment that he made. But he needs to win this. Absolutely needs to win this Champions League final.
Here's my spicy take, and we will end the counterattack on the spicy take. In Twitter, let us know at UncSamSoccerPod, at Jake Watroba, at Armankafai, at Steven Jodderin. Let me know if I'm an idiot. I probably am. But I'm going to say it anyways. Jurgen Klopp's a better manager than Pep Guardiola. Regardless of the outcome.
Well,
Pep Guardiola would not win the Premier League this year with Liverpool.
Huh. Interesting. There you got it.
I see.
All right. That's it. That's it for the counterattack. And listeners, you can follow the show on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod. You can follow Steven at Steven Jodderin and Armankafai at Armankafai. You can follow me at Jake Watroba. Just a quick reminder, in case you were dying to know our Champions League predictions, those two picked Liverpool. I picked Tottenham. If you're wondering why we didn't do that we did it 2 weeks ago. But anyway, as a little reminder. Anyways, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Champions League final. We'll be back next week. We'll talk to you guys next time. Deuces.
Deuces.